Hey, this is Alex with Grow How. Some stuff happened earlier today that got me thinking again, and this is something that's been on my mind a lot, is communication. A lot of you know me from Facebook, and there are a lot of questions on the Utah gardening pages that I'm on where I could use some more communication. There are other experts, some of them that are better than I am. Darn it, I'm not the best. There's some really good folks out there, but all of us need to have communication about what's going on. If you're asking a health question or an ID question, we need a photo. There's some things, okay, I've got powdery stuff on my rose. Okay, I can answer that probably pretty quickly. But what you consider powdery may not be what I consider powdery. So a good photo or a couple of photos are really good. It allows us to visualize fairly closely what you're seeing. I'm going to say fairly closely because photos aren't perfect. Make sure it's a good quality photo. I love these photos that show bugs, like this. They're blurry. Okay, you got a small bug. That's all I'm going to commit to. I can sometimes guess, and I make a lot of guesses, but a good quality photo, sometimes it's clear. And then it's really just sparkling clear, makes it easy for me and for you. If you're looking at a tree, and this is probably good for any plant, get a picture of the big picture of the tree. I've got my tree over here. You can't see it, but a full picture of the tree, a close-up picture of the damage or the part you're concerned with, and then maybe an intermediate shot, and with trees in particular, get a picture of the base. This year I've seen a lot of trees come up with people having questions, and they've been buried too deeply. So showing that base can really make a difference on getting you a quick answer and trying to find out a way to solve the problem. These aren't bad things. It's not as important with some of the smaller stuff because they're not as touchy over planting. But you need, again, got to have a picture of the problem. A picture of the whole plant is really ideal. Communications, ID plant. You give a blurry photo. I know you guys, sometimes you're getting it from friends. I know, we're in a busy world and you're on the move constantly. But if I can't get a clear photo, then my ID is going to be iffy. And sometimes I can ID it down to a variety, sometimes. But sometimes with a blurry photo, I'd be lucky to even get the family. And communication, it goes on beyond that. It's there was a Facebook group I was on recently, and the group owner didn't really like stuff I was saying. I did end up being a little bit snappy because she was kind of treating me badly. But the problem really was, it was listed as a gardening and homesteading page, and she was promoting native plants over, garden varieties, which is fine. If you want to eat a native squaw apple, great, more power to you. I've done it. I'll stick with my cultivated varieties. Thank you. But, if you've got a gardening page or some sort of, and you're not communicating in the about page that, oh yeah, we're going to talk a lot about natives here, then I don't know the context that you want the group to function in. It's your group. That's great. But if I've joined your group because you haven't communicated clearly, that's an issue. Communicating with your neighbors. So many times we hear about, oh, so-and-so's got a branch that's hanging over my fence and it's tearing up my building. Okay, great. Did you talk to your neighbor? You may not like them. They may not like you. I got neighbors back here that don't like me. But if you can go over and say, hey, listen, got some problems here. Can we talk about this? Can we find a solution? Most often, that's the easiest way to do things. If they get mean with you after that, then, take out the gloves or take off the gloves and just go at it. That's fine with me. But if you haven't talked to them first, then that's creating the problem. It's communication. I had a problem here my first year. I had some bees. They're doing really well. I walked out one day and they were just all over the place. I shouldn't say all over the place, they were all over the place around the hive. It was clearly pesticide damage. And I didn't go stomping over to my neighbor. He actually noticed me and I says, yeah, my bees all died, I'm afraid it's a pesticide. And I didn't accuse him. I mean, it could have come from, I guess, a couple different routes. He is the closest neighbor. He's the only one that's close enough that I would expect that. But I've got people down here in the cul-de-sac that wouldn't give a second thought to spraying all their flowers with who knows what. And so far, they haven't been showing much evidence of actually following the labeling on it. And no, this neighbor, he was a great guy. He says, I think, I sprayed my garage. I think I killed your bees. I says, that's okay. I'll get some more bees. Thanks for letting me know. And we talked a lot about bees after that, and he studied it up. But it's because of communication. And I was fortunate to have a neighbor that cared enough to say, hey, what's going on? And we found out what was going on, and he was great with me and sat there and watching my bees until he moved. I really appreciated that relationship because he was willing to communicate with me. Again, you are going to have interactions with your neighbors and gardens. There are going to be things that hang over the fence. There's going to be fence problems. There's going to be the potential of drift. And I realize there's some people don't care if their pesticide drifts over into your place. I realize that they don't care if they kill your bees. I realize they don't care if they hack up your trees when you're not around. It happens. I've seen it happen. But if you're communicating, we can cut down on these problems. They may not correct their ways, but most people are just decent people and don't want to cause problems for other people. So look at the communication. Look at talking to your neighbors, letting them know what's going on, sharing with them if they're interested. Ask them questions. I've got neighbors here, and I may be the expert pruner around here, but dang it, I'm not very experienced at grafting. We did it in college. I haven't really had much need for it. I've got neighbors that are great at it, that have taken the classes multiple times and go there to meet new people and find new grafts to put onto their trees. They don't need my help with grafting, but I can learn from them. Communication. Anyway, that's enough of a rant and rave for the day. It's getting dark. Hopefully this video turns out okay. Actually, it's dark. You don't have to see my ugly mug. If you like what you're hearing, hit the subscribe button. If you want to hear more of it and get notified for every video, there's going to be a little bell that shows up next to the subscribe button. Click on that. And subscribe button's just communicating to YouTube that, hey, I'm interested in this guy. Bring up his videos a little bit more often in my feed. Maybe I'll watch them. The bell means, hey, I like this guy, I want to hear everything he has to say. And I want to know immediately as soon as he posts. And that's great too. Whatever works for you. If you got any questions, use comments below. I'm still building up what I'm going to be doing for this year on videos. Love to hear more suggestions. Thank you very much. Manana.